What's going on? It's your man's once again, Moo Man on the mic with the 19th episode of the Initiative Podcast. And you know we getting to everything. Celebrity news, world news, sociology, psychology, and WTF for real. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 19th episode, right? That's a round of applause for real. 19th episode. The 20th episode tomorrow is dropping, and that's going to be a pretty long episode. I'm not really sure how long it's going to be, but it's going to define all of the episodes up into tomorrow. To the 20th episode, it's going to explain the colors I use. It's going to explain the flags. What is up with the flags? I know. We're going to get into every bit of history on the flags, how they correlate all the way to the top of the flag, which actually relates to my family history. So this episode, we are gonna wing it. We are ad-libbing, all right? We are gonna ad-lib. There's only one topic that I want to talk about, and it just so happens to be Shannon Sharpe. No, I know. We've been hearing about Shannon Sharpe, and we're gonna hear about Shannon Sharpe further all the way into the summer, I'm sure, right? Because he's about to lose out on either $100 million or he's about to pay out $50 million, either or. You see what I'm saying? But it's not Shannon Sharpe per se that we're gonna get into. We're going to get into the idea of Shannon Sharpe as a successful black man, and then we're going to get into all the other successful black men and how right when they get to the pinnacle, right when they get to certain levels, especially if you're independent, you know what I'm saying, financially independent, and you're getting that financially independent money, you crack the code on social media, you crack the code on developing the machine for yourself so you can stray away from certain 360 deals, so you can stray away from certain contracts, lifelong contracts. Oh yeah, we're going to get into that right around now. Okay, listen here. And I've seen the headlines all day. Shannon Sharpe, all right, Gabrielle Zuniga. All right, I mean, come on now. What is going on here? I mean, it's all too often that you see professional black men who get to these levels. Now, don't get it wrong. There's always some taint within the mindset for certain men, you know what I'm saying, who get into certain positions. Maybe they're not used to the fame, maybe they're not used to the money, maybe they're not used to the access, maybe they get too used to the fame, too used to the money, and too used to the access, and then things like this happen. You see what I'm saying? It's not just Shannon Sharpe. You see what I'm saying? We're talking about everybody, you know, from Tyrese, you see what I'm saying? That's another one, to others, and what you already should know who I'm referring to. The reason why I don't name them right here is because I don't want to get the idea of what I'm trying to get at taken out of context. So what I mean by that is, how many times do you see on the news or in their propaganda machine a black man being successful without being tarnished, without their character being attacked and assassinated and brought down? You see what I'm saying? Every time you don't go with the flow, every time you think that you're bigger than the set, you're bigger than the game tries to take you down, the set tries to modify you. You see what I'm saying? And we know throughout history, you see what I'm saying, from Nipsey Hussle to others, how every time, you know, there's an idea, or every time that there is a shift in the money flow of any kind of individual that's a part of any kind of organization that supersedes the ideology of the organization tries to take them down. You see what I'm saying? And this is just another scenario. For me, it kind of highlights obvious. You see what I'm saying? Because I know what to look for. I know these agents. I know these bots. I know these bobs. You see what I'm saying? Like you can't sneak up on me talking about a good time, knowing that I'm getting $100 million, $200, you know what I'm saying, contract, or knowing that I'm getting this movie deal, knowing that I'm getting this distribution on a galactic scale deal, anything of the sort. You can't come to me talking about, oh, I want to marry you. You see what I'm saying? And then literally in 1 year, take all my riches and earnings. You'll never look good enough. The pussy will never be that good. You see what I'm saying? And that's a fact. And my thing is, for these dudes who get delusioned by these females, you see what I'm saying? That's a sign of mental weakness in my eyes. You see what I'm saying? It's a mental weakness, Jack. Like, there's no way you're that naive, that success has made you that naive to where you honestly believe that, you know, these strangers or that these people you meet at these cocktail parties, you go overseas to the beach or to the island, which is not necessarily down the way. There's no way you believe that in 3, 4, 5, 6 months time, and it doesn't really matter how old you are. And I think the older you get, the more naive you become, especially when you're famous and especially when you're financially well off, if you have not already suffered certain heartbreaks. That's my personal opinion. If you have not suffered certain heartbreaks, if you have not lost certain losses, if you have not gained and lost it all on multiple occasions, and then we're not talking about meager levels. We're talking about levels in which the next choice would have been life or death. The next choice would have been this or that. And we're talking about for a very long time. All right, a lot of new money in the game right now is in the game, and they're navigating and they're testing how their reach and seeing how far that they can go. And it just so happens to be black men, black women too. But black men is specific because the system has been designed against specifically us for some time. Now, don't worry. There's a system designed against black women, and they deal with that, which is the reason why they're the smartest group in America. For black men, we have a curve that we got to get, you know, behind and through. There's specific biological weapons they created against us, you know what I'm saying? Hence the Tuskegee. You see what I'm saying? Which affects our black women and affects our black children. And at the same time, on a psychological level, when you get to this level of success and you start reaching and you start having a good time, you have to remember you're going to get targeted. You're being targeted. You're going to get targeted. You see what I'm saying? It's going to happen more and more often, especially to these celebrities moving on into 2026 with the climate of the world. And that's a fact. And we need to understand this. You see what I'm saying? Like, we need to understand the political, you know, pressures on top of it seeps into the industry, is what I mean. You know, the pressures will seep into the industry. The celebrities are going to be targeted first because, well, if you're not already a slave to your lifelong contracts in whatever studios you're in, whether it's film studios or music studios, if you're not already blackmailed into a certain kind of game because you thought you was going to be in the in crowd, if you're not already sold out, you see what I'm saying, into a certain level of success because you feel like that's your family now, you see what I'm saying, or you feel like you're sacrificing yourself for your family, so what you have done was a means to a greater end. You understand that they knock off families too, all right, and not just physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You see what I'm saying? Like there is consequences to choices, and of course I'm saying the obvious to a lot of people. But man, when I see these headlines with Shannon Sharpe, you know, just once again another scenario. You see what I'm saying? It bugs me. I mean, it doesn't anger me anymore because I know how to direct my anger into my spoken word. I got written coming out in May. I know how to direct my anger to business ventures. I got the merch up. Definitely check out Moo Man on the Mic shop at fourthwall.com. You know, and I know how to direct my energy now. At first I didn't. I was wild hundreds, getting locked up, prison, back and forth to jail, you name it. You see what I'm saying? Felony after felony after felony. You know, bad choice after bad choice after bad choice. And that's just because I didn't know how to channel my anger. But see, now I know how to do so. You see what I'm saying? And then mind you, this is my point though. So, you know, say that I come up, you know what I'm saying, with multi-millions of dollars in the next year. You know, what humbles me is everything that I've already lost. I have nothing to lose even when I gain money, because the money itself is just money. It's not something you have to break your back for, because it essentially doesn't buy anything if it's not used properly. It essentially can't multiply at all. It could be liquid all at once. To be honest with you, it is a promissory note laced with a variety of different kind of sigils and symbols designed to magnetically attract and electrically attract, you know what I'm saying, certain energies. That's all. These are things you got to keep in mind too. You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you wouldn't be targeted because you'd be invincible if you had the armor of the Most High on you. You see what I'm saying? And Shannon, you wouldn't have been targeted had you would have been following the laws of the Most High anyway, just in general. We're not talking about sometimes, we're talking about all the time. Yes, it requires that level of discipline. I'm sorry, you can't get around that work. Just like you can't get around not going to the gym. Just like you can't get around not doing certain kind of habitual ritual things that we do on a daily basis to upkeep our mental state anyway. You see what I'm saying? That's just, you simply just apply that ideology to the Most High. You're gonna get it back. And I mean, these are the facts. You see what I'm saying? And again, I'm not angry. It just bugs me to see this headline. You know what I'm saying? Charlemagne, a guy, he's like, what you dealing with a 2019, a 20-year-old anyway? You know, Boosie, he like, yeah, all these females come after that when they hear that $100 million contract. You know what I'm saying? And even Umar is talking about, I got your back if you just leave the snow bunnies alone. And all of that is just surface issues, because the bigger problem is the state of mind that he was in to make the choice to deal with a particular female such as this. That is the core of the issue. That right there needs to be investigated. Same thing with Kanye West, even though it's a different topic. Again, him spurring out on Twitter like that with something as personal as he did, that was a call or a cry for understanding. So we can't knock that off either. Same thing with Diddy. You see what I'm saying? And Diddy could be diabolical. He definitely is diabolical, don't get me wrong. But there's a reason behind the diabolicalness. Every last one of these gentlemen I just named are victims first. The villain is a victim until, you see what I'm saying, someone understands where the, villain is coming from. That's a fact. You see what I'm saying? And that's throughout history. You know what I mean? Villains aren't born, they're made. You see what I'm saying? Heroes are born. And the reason why heroes are born is because the fight is not in the physical, it's in the spiritual. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what the whole movie Sinners is truly about. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is what's happening right now. The spiritual war is starting to seep out into the three-dimensional realm. Now you can see it between people's eyes. Now you can hear it in people's voices. You see what I'm saying? And now you can navigate new faith, or your faith that you should already have. You see what I'm saying? In the climate that's approaching, and it is approaching. It's gonna get to the point where the line is gonna have to get drawn in the sand if you haven't drawn it in the sand already. Music and film, and every place that art resides, and every place that the surrealistic reality resides, that's where the fight is going to be. And it just so happens to be even more so digital now in this digital AI age. And even outside of the digital AI age, again, it's all seeping into the third dimension. You see what I'm saying? And so, like this, that's why I'm freestyling this 19th episode straight. You see what I'm saying? Because I want people to understand that I'm doing this because I'm on a path, that I'm on a journey. You see what I'm saying? Of reveal, of character searching, and of walking my path of faith. And I will do this faithfully until the end that the Most High chooses for me. And again, this is your man, Moon Man on the mic, episode 20. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, get ready. It's going to be a long episode, but you will understand exactly who I am, what Moon Man means, what the flags mean, and everything. Thank you again, and I will see you episode 20.
I don't mean no disrespect, but no way. I can't listen to you, I do